Yeah, compatible is a funnier word. You know why? The A sound. Yep.
These are the funniest sounds.
They are.
Ch. See, now we're getting away from it.
You're right. You're right.
Those aren't funny.
Well,
That's the
fuzz's
thing
more
about
of a
comedy.
delicious word.
It's an art. It's not a science. Even though you
Now-
can quantify it.
Now, on the other hand, muffa.
Muffa's pretty funny.
We're back in it. It sounds like we did a swear, you know? Roger, I see you're feasting on a delicious apple over there.
Is it a Cosmic Crisp?
Those Cosmic Crisps are crazy, right?
I'm into it.
I have no idea what you're talking about, actually.
Hot
Well,
new
there's
apple
a new
on the
apple,
block.
Roger.
Hot new apple on the block. I don't know what they did. They took a Honey Crisp and fucking shot it into space, and it came back.
And they mixed it with a
altered, man.
star.
Yeah, they collided it. They put it in the fucking CERN particle accelerator. And shot it at a star.
Where does it compare to apples? Because my favorite apple is, of course, Granny Smith.
The Granny Smith.
Really? Now, I find a Granny Smith to be kind of tart. I like it for a pie, obviously, but you know, despite what I look like, I'm not baking a lot of pies.
Oh, that's fair. No, I love tart. I love just a tart apple. I like biting into a crisp Granny Smith. I like going.
Sure. I did when I was a kid. I have a very distinct memory.
For the listeners out there, Roger just turned his mouth inside out.
Yeah, it was not.
The YouTube saw it.
We got to see the smaller Roger inside his neck that takes care of most of the involuntary movements.
Someone's got to. I'm not doing it.
I would have a distinct memory of being very young and needing a green apple.
Dude, green apples were the best.
Totally.
That being said, I'm the only one I know who likes green apples still.
Yeah, I really grew out of it. I don't know what the deal is. Come back, green apple. No, fuck that. Cosmic Crisp. All the way.
So explain the taste. Compare it to me.
You know, I would say Cosmic Crisp does. It is a little tartier than your Honey Crisp.
Would you say it's out of this world?
I would absolutely say out of this world.
I think I would say it's probably out of this world.
Now,
I think you just nailed that one on the head.
Did the reptilians underneath LA create the cosmic apple?
We can only postulate at this point, but yeah.
What didn't they create, really?
Yeah.
Would be a much shorter list.
Yeah, I mean, if they created Earth, then truly theirs is the responsibility to the apple as well.
And realistically, if they created man and man creates the apple, did they not also create the apple?
Wait, did we invent the apple? Yeah, Newton, right?
That's when the apple and gravity were created.
When he discovered the apple. he found that iPod in a meteor.
My friend John actually has apple creation money. His family created the golden sow or something. I don't know. The golden something apple.
Crazy.
And how come they're not a Chancellor of Madness in Werewolf Radar's Patreon?
Yeah, with that old apple money.
Well, I think that you can have a patent or whatever for a seed. And unless you're Monsanto, it really doesn't matter. This is shit from like 150 years ago.
Yeah, whatever. Turn those pockets inside out, Granny Smith. I haven't seen dime one from the fruit I invented, which is a tangerine forcibly smashed into a grapefruit.
First of all, I also thought you meant
graperine.
Apple computers. And the golden apple was like the best 1980s computer you could get.
It's from the 50s. It was all brass and steam.
No, that was the Whopper, I believe.
No, man, they were apple ranchers. Come on.
They wrangled all those rinds.
Exactly.
Made one Franken apple.
They were rind wranglers, and they finally got the golden sow. Did you call it, huh?
Something like that.
Fat, greasy, yellow apple. But boy, is it sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I am Nate Balding.
And I am Roger Norquist.
And this week's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroco brand Phillips head screwdrivers, only compatible with Phillips head. Monstroco. What the fuck?
Man, I can't wait to first of all get that and then find a fill up. Really see what I
Yeah.
can get in there.
Yeah, so I don't know
Yeah.
if it's like if it has
Don't
if like
don't try to use it on a fill. That's the
If-
thing. Like, has to be a fill up.
if it's I don't know if it's implying that like you're supposed to hit them in the head with it or stab them, or like if all Phillips have little screws that you can unscrew using this screwdriver. But knowing Monstroco like products, I think it's that one. I think if you get this near a Phillip, you can see the screws and you can unscrew them. And
I've never been that
their
close
head.
to a
like
fill up,
like
if I'm
lock
being
and
honest.
key
They're
kind of
scary.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
what
exactly
I was
like
picturing
lock and
too.
key.
Yes.
Me too.
Well, yeah, they have those eyes like the backs of screws.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense why they would call those other screwdrivers Phillips head too, because those screws look like that. I thought it was just because of people named Philip who have those strange screw eyes. Anyway, how are you guys? Confused?
I'm always confused by what Monstroco brings us,
Very
but
much
you know
so.
what? We have to sell what they give us because they are our
Sure.
sponsor and we love them.
That's
I
that's
agree.
the contract.
Brand loyalty means nothing without a blood signature. What they always say. How are you guys doing? I'm chilling out. I'm gonna have a relaxed episode today. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take my pants off. Fuck it.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah,
I think we
I
should
think
all
you
do. We
should.
should just, for the next rest of April, maybe into May, just pants off.
And
Really
I'm gonna
relaxed. Put on sandals, maybe get a robe.
put this blazer on.
Ho ho.
Pants and blazer, underpants and blazer combo. Look at that. They call it
Very
the newsman's weekend. I do have
Pocket
a
of
pretty
scotch in every pocket.
I do have a pretty relaxed
Pocket of.
segment. If you guys want to, did you ever see those things called pocket shots?
Oh yeah.
They were like, it was literally just a plastic bag filled with booze.
It really was the lowest you can go for the alcoholic on the run.
Truly a high water mark for like, oh yeah, I could get these in my socks. That kind of guy,
They're searching me everywhere else. Where else
yeah.
can I put it?
In a pinch, I could get it in an orifice. Okay, I'd like to ease into this. I'm feeling easy breezy. Spring is in the air,
Yes.
It's warming up. I'm kicking it on the porch a lot these days. And as we know, I managed to get my vaccine. I'm changing in incredible ways to survive Donald Trump's neo-viral America. And I was in the hospital and I was sitting there, had some time to kill, and I did one of my favorite things in the world, which is to go to the Ask Reddit,
Yep.
punch in the word paranormal and the place you're at. So I put in
thought for sure you were
paranormal
gonna say
hospital.
steal random bags of IV
No.
bags. Like,
Just see what's in there,
And taste the blood. This is what I found. Nurses and doctors of Reddit, what is your weirdest, scariest paranormal stories that took place during work? And these are fucking terrifying.
All right, I'm excited.
So I'm just going to read one. We talk about it. We move on.
I like it. We've done something like this before, and I'm always so surprised how haunted our hospitals are, how haunted the places nurses work on a regular basis
Totally.
are.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. They're the airports of the ghost world.
For sure.
they all have really good bars, but cost twice as much to drink there.
It's really expensive, but I mean, the quality goes through the roof.
Chili's. Don't forget the Chili's.
Don't forget Chili's. I would never. Okay, this is the first one. This is from My Dog Operates Better Than You. Hilarious.
All right.
Did
Just
a
like
rotation.
a vindictive surgeon.
Apparently, did a rotation in a burn unit. There are tons of stories that go around, but I'll share my favorite. A pimp lit one of his prostitutes on fire, and she immediately bear hugged him, causing them to both suffer pretty severe injuries.
Yes, she is a hero.
Yeah, no,
Truly.
that's a solid tactic.
Yeah, that's some fucking scald shit. Unfortunately, hers included an inhalation burn. They both were being treated in the same ICU, but on opposite ends. Weeks later, she ends up coding and passes away. About 30 minutes later, as things start to quiet down, the guy starts screaming from his own room, "Get her out! Get the goddamn bitch out of my room!"
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes.
Dun, dun.
Revenge.
Yeah, no, I was thinking ripped from the headlines.
Truly. Can you imagine that scene? Just the nurse like turns the light out, the door clicks shut, and there she is.
Just smoldering
Oh, yikes.
in every sense of the word.
Oh, wow. Goosebumps, courtesy of Reddit. Okay. This next one is from Reddit user Jesus Crust.
Man, Reddit crushing it with the names.
You're doing it. There's probably some medical explanation for this, but still the weirdest thing I've seen as a nurse so far. We had a very robust, confused old lady on our floor. Her room was in front of the nurses station, so we could keep an eye on her, and had one of our nurses' aides as a sitter too. She was always fighting, kicking, trying to get out of bed, very restless and agitated, as some patients I've had before can get before death. One day we were called into the room as her heart rate was going down, and she lay still with her eyes open. It was 30, 20, then flatline. We checked for a pulse and did not find anything. She was a DNR, so we did not attempt resuscitation, which is what DNR means.
Yeah.
We closed her eyes, prepared to get her in the body bag and call her family. The sitter remains in there to start getting the body ready. Less than 10 minutes later, she calls us back in. The old lady is at it again, hitting, kicking, trying to get out of bed. She came back to life. Yeah. Honestly, we found the situation hilarious, and I still have never seen any patient come back to life like that on their own. I think she made it out of the hospital, too.
Yeah, my grandma's one of these cases to where, like,
your grandma's undead?
Yeah, you just can't stop certain evil.
Wow, crazy.
But yeah, like she was like, do not DNR, blah blah blah. Went through the motions, took her off, and then all of a sudden she comes back stronger, and we're like, oh,
yeah,
all right, well that was a surprise.
Sure.
And once again, it's just something you joke about. I get that. Yeah. Like I said, like remember that time?
Yeah, that person came back to life.
She came back to life.
Didn't want to go.
I wonder if there's like an afterlife snack. Like you die, but you can. You know, if you just get a little recharge, you can come back to the body.
Sure,
it seems like it, man.
It's like a little death nap. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel like the type of thing where it's like maybe she was difficult there too. Like she went to the afterlife. And like,
oh,
whatever her spiritual higher was, just kind of like kicked her back down. Nope, right now.
Not today. Yeah, I'm just not in the mood. Okay, next up, Penguin Tummy.
What is that? The name or the malady?
That's the Reddit
That's the name of the person. No, that is not something that you can get. It's like fucking Legionnaire's disease or something. You get it from being in hospital.
I think if you were to actually pay attention to the Reddits, you would lose your mind with just the names, man. They're phenomenal. It's like Tumblr over there, but meaner. So much meaner. Yet nicer than Tumblr.
Penguin Tummy has this to say.
Yes.
I'm an ICU nurse. A patient's son rang the hospital at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night saying he was sure his dad was dying. His dad had a severe stroke and was doing okay. Recovery would be difficult, but he wasn't expected to die and was pretty stable at the time. I was looking after him, and he was a lot of work because he would try to get up but couldn't walk, so he'd fallen a lot.
Sure.
The son really wanted to come in, even though it was way past visiting hours. But, I'll bend the rules in a good cause.
Yeah, that's a noble thing to do. Good for you, nurse.
Sure.
Respect.
I figured, what the heck? It's his Saturday night. Come on in and sit with your dad. Patient died about 2 minutes before the son walked in the door. It was like a switch was turned off. He just died. The last thing he said to me was, "Am I bothering anyone?" I told him, of course not. Even though he knew some very frustrating behavior he had some very frustrating behavior because of the stroke. The son just started crying and screaming. I knew it. How the heck he knew? We were all a bit freaked out.
Yeah, that's something that is definitely such a common occurrence, like that psychic connection with a loved one to where you can just sense that, oh, you've left.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. You hear a lot of stuff about like just like coming out of ICUs and coming out of hospitals about kind of the connection between people, and as evidenced by passing on. Next up, this is from Reddit user Deleted. I've worked in a small family-run nursing home for 6 years as a nurse's aide. It was an orphanage before it became a nursing home. Dun dun dun.
So they never left. They just got older.
Yeah.
Just the orphans that never got picked up.
Oh, still not today, huh? Okay. It was an orphanage before it became a nursing home, and unfortunately, before being shut down, the orphanage had a history of severe abuse and neglect. It's not gossip the owner herself has told us. When residents get close to death, they always see a little girl. One of my patients, a very alert gentleman, he knew all our names and was very alert and oriented. I was passing dinner trays and saw that he had his back turned and was talking and laughing in the corner. I knocked and asked him who he was talking to, and he chuckled and said, "This little girl came into my room. She was scared." He died 3 days later.
Oh.
Little angel of death.
About 6 months later, had another patient screaming about a little girl grabbing his feet, and she needed to leave him alone. He died that night. She's come up over the years, and it's always the same thing. They see her, and then they die.
Is this one of them godlings from The Witcher 3?
Maybe.
What a weird thing to. I mean, it seems like it's pleasant for some, but I don't want to die now.
Well, it says here to end it. Other coworkers have had the same experience. It's very unsettling. It's not. It's not fun.
Yeah. Wow. The world behind ours, you know.
Right. Crazy. This one's from Easy Growth. I'm a nurse in a hospital, and my patient was a well-known card reader in town, not too unheard of in Louisiana. I had actually gone to her about 10 years prior, and she was eerily accurate. While caring for her for a few days, I walk into her room, and she is unresponsive. She had been very lethargic all day, but now she was out. Her daughter is at bedside trying to wake her up. I sternal rub her and inflict pain with no response, and a very thready pulse. This is a lot of hospital jargon.
When you say inflict pain, do you mean slapped her in the face? Wake up!
I
think
it's less cartoonish than that, but yes.
I call a rapid response. This woman then wakes up randomly and was full of energy within a 30-second span. She told me she was dead and watching me in the room the whole time. She knew exactly what happened. She said God told her it wasn't time and sent her back. She went home a couple of days later, and she's still doing card readings. She's in her late 80s, if I recall correctly.
It wasn't her time?
Wasn't her time?
So she had an OBE.
Yeah.
What? Not to waste time, but like, why would God send you back? Like, if you believe in the God and the infallibility of all of it, why did that happen? Why was there that false call that they had to kick you back down for?
They didn't have enough room. It was a wrong number.
It happens, I guess. Even they make mistakes.
Oh my God, are you Christina Zabretto? Oh, I'm looking for Christina Zabretto.
Gotcha. It's kind of like that, how The Good Place starts in The Lie, to where there was just two, I can't remember the main character's name, they died at the same time. Yes. There was a mix-up.
Mm-hmm. Big old mix-up.
Yeah, well, like God can be infallible and still hire a bunch of dipshits.
You're right. God's infallible. The dipshits he hires, they mess up from time to time.
Are you guys fucking fouling in here? That's like my main thing. You're not supposed to foul. Okay? All right, just don't do it anymore. Okay.
Seriously, if you do it, the world gets destroyed. Don't foul.
I will destroy it. I'll destroy it. I've done it before. Kyle, tell him. Yeah, Kyle was here. Okay. Next up, this is from Jalcott. Jalcott? Anyway. I'm a psychiatric nurse. Early in my career, I worked at a residential mental health facility. There was a resident I'll call Marion Duchesne.
Oh, a Southern belle of a.
No, he's a
name is
fellow.
way too boring.
He's a fellow.
A dandy
Marion
of a man.
Duchesne. He was an elective mute, which simply means that he didn't/wouldn't/couldn't talk, but there were no pathological findings as to why. He hadn't spoken earlier in his life and in fact seemed quite normal back then, with the notable exception of being close to 7 feet tall.
Damn.
He'd been raised in the deep south
Too
and
tall
joined
to
the
speak? Is
military.
that
And joined the military when he was 19. After boot camp, he was stationed somewhere in the south. One night, he just vanished. It was declared an AWOL for years, and finally, he was declared missing and dead. 10 years later, a 7-foot-tall man walked into a VA hospital emergency room in my part of the Midwest and said to the receptionist, "My name is Marion Duchesne, and I've been dead for 10 years." Those were the last words he ever spoke.
What happened? Did he just die there?
He was covered with dust, and he was wearing the same clothes he'd been reported to be wearing the night he vanished. His social security number had not been used, and he had no identification on his person. However, they were able to identify him, I guess via fingerprints. He was well-fed and in good health, except for his refusal to speak. The family was notified, but they said they had already grieved their lost man, and that whomever was claiming to be him simply could not be. They said he was a haint and a stand-in for their dead relative and demanded not to be contacted again.
Wow.
Yeah, see if you can trap him in a piece of blue glass.
Marion paced all day, every day. Not in a frantic way, but just lumbering up and down the halls and outside. He smiled all the time and would be moving his mouth in a way that indicated talking or muttering, but he was dead silent. He had an unnerving habit of throwing his head back with his mouth wide open as if he were laughing heartily, but not even a breath could be heard.
That gives me the worst goosebumps.
If told to go to the dining room for a meal, he'd go and eat. But if nobody told him, he just kept pacing, never indicating hunger. If offered a cigarette, he'd smoke it in an oddly formal way, almost delicately, if that makes sense. But he never seemed to crave smoking. The man wanted nothing. If I talked to him, he appeared to listen, periodically throwing his head back in that laughter-mimicking way of his. There was nothing for this man to do. Various medications were tried, but they did not affect him either positively or negatively. Occupational therapy did nothing because Marion would just grin, and unless told to stay put, he'd get up and start pacing again. On my last day at that job, on my way to something better, the last thing I saw was Marion pacing in the parking lot, throwing his head back to quote-unquote laugh. Later, I wondered if all along I'd been dealing with a ghost. All these years later, I still don't know.
Wow, because I thought maybe a
think
zombie.
That they were.
Maybe he was zombified. What a weird tale. Fascinating.
Listen to this. This is interesting. The first comment says, "Ooh, I know about haints. They're very real in Southeast coastal cultures. Did he have an aversion to any specific colors? How did he feel about water?" And she,
I'm telling you, blue glass. You got to get him in blue glass.
Chalcott actually responded and said he had no aversion to anything, no opinions that I could see. If reminded to shower, he did so. He wore any color of clothing that was laid out for him.
Wow.
And then the same person, or a different person, Dick of Doom, asks, "Can you explain what that is, please?" And Storm 137 says, "What exactly is a haint?" Haint is an old Southern word for a specific type of ghost or evil spirit from the Carolina coast, but found in the tales from various regions of the South. Belief in haints probably originated with the Gullah Geechee people, descendants of African slaves in the Carolina Low Country and Barrier Islands. In South Carolina, haints are malicious ghosts, often seeking to steal or harm naughty children, maybe used as a story to make unruly children behave.
It has a lot of that, like, zombie
Mm-hmm.
traits to it from, what was it, Serpent in the Rainbows, the book that really is featured, and it's a real tale of a dude who was zombified and was freed, not freed, but escaped slavery.
Sure. This one's from AGF 0605. I worked in a pediatric hospital and had always heard that the 4th floor right outside our oncology unit was haunted. I worked 3/12s normally, but would pick up overtime and picked up a night shift. I was working in the NICU, which happened to be also on the 4th floor, but on the opposite side. The oncology unit had a staircase that was a shortcut down to the cafeteria, which was on the 2nd floor. At about 3 a.m., I was ready to take a short break and wanted a cup of coffee from the cafeteria, so I decided to take the staircase. I walked through the automatic double doors and saw a kid skipping down the hall. I called out to him as I was afraid a little kid had snuck out of a patient room. As soon as I called out to him, he turned and in the blink of an eye, totally vanished.
Oh.
A lot of other nurses and docs had seen the same little kid skipping in that same hallway. Of course, I chalked it up to just exhaustion. Didn't really think about it much after that, but you are damn sure I didn't use that hallway at night ever again.
Yeah, man. I've been in hallways late, and I'd never seen that, but now I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
You'll go into any hallway one time. That's it.
Circles for me, man. Never backtrack.
We're going to get out of here. I'm going to end this segment on this one. I'll come up with a name for this segment. We'll call it Reddit Reads It. Jordan Reddits. This is from Difficult Lemon. Oh, I have so many, I don't know where to start.
Nice.
I work in geriatrics, nursing homes for a few years. So most of our patients died within a few years of being with us. Anyways, I had a new patient move into one of the rooms on my hall that my previous patient had just passed in. My new patient kept calling all night, saying there was this woman. Sorry, so
That's
boring.
Right. You should get a protein bar.
Saying there was this woman who kept coming into her room and trying to talk to her. At first, I just passed it off as her being in her 90s and struggling with dementia. So I assured her that I would lock her door at night to make sure that no one would come in. After about a week of this continuing to happen, I sat down with her and was asking what this woman looked like thinking she may just be hallucinating her daughter or sister or something. And she proceeded to tell me that this woman had a pink robe on with blue fuzzy slippers and her hair up in curlers. And the woman would come and sit at the foot of her bed, pat the new patient's feet, and try to talk to her, but she couldn't understand what she was saying. I almost pissed myself. The patient that I had in that room prior to my new one went to bed every night in her pink house robe, blue slippers, and her hair curlers. It stopped after about 2 weeks.
Okay, that sounds pleasant. Passed.
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
Sound terrible, but
this
I would be annoyed.
I would
Reddit Reads It.
I like that. This is
Nice
me clapping.
Excellent.
Where I read spooky stories.
My therapist said I should clap more.
Interesting. My therapist said I should clap less.
See? We're going out to a normal person, me and you, Jordan.
Interesting.
My therapist said I should end my own life.
That's
that's
therapist. That's that ghoul again.
Yeah, stop going to the ghoul.
Stop going to the ghoul. Just pay real money. I know that the ghoul accepts bones.
But I have so many bones.
I know. And nobody can sell them to us.